Hey everybody, this is Principal Anderson at Michelle Clark, and Mother's Day is May 11th, I believe, and we want to do a lot to just celebrate our mothers who've been so important, and we're not gonna forget about the dads because I think everybody forgets about the dads. But today we have a mother-son duo that I'm so excited to have some conversation by. So, Mr. Williams, so we have to say Mr. J. Williams. Works here at Michelle Clark, so I'm gonna let him introduce himself, and then I'm gonna let him tell you something about his mom, and then we'll go from there.
Mr. J. Williams. This is my second year. I'm in the building. I'm an instructional coach, as well as the football coach, the wrestling coach, and a lot of different hats around the building.
I think he's gonna talk a little louder, isn't he? Pull that mic up and talk a little louder, I think.
So again, it's my second year in the building. Mr. Williams, sorry if you guys did hear me. I'm an instructional coach, as well as the football coach, the wrestling coach, help with technology coordinator. Just a lot of hats around the building.
And so now you're supposed to introduce.
And this to the left of me is this beautiful, wonderful woman, my mother, who was honored enough to give birth to me.
It was her honor, right? Yeah, because you're the best child. We're going to find out that, too. So, you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell us, since I thought we were just going to do a little bit more, but,
Don't do that. My name is Elizabeth Spivey, and I am the mother of this fine young man here. He is the second of four.
Wow, all this time I thought he was the oldest.
Yeah, a lot of people think he's the oldest because he act like the oldest. He act like everyone's dad. He act like my husband. He act like...
But how did that come about that he started acting like that?
I don't know. It's been like that, like all of his life. My daughter is actually the oldest.
And how many years older is she?
About like a year and a half.
Okay.
A year and a half, but everyone think he's the oldest.
I knew you had a daughter, but I always thought he was still the oldest.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So when you think about your mom, give me some adjectives that come to your head right away. And I'm not giving you a chance. It's just spitfire right quick.
No, definitely beautiful, kind, caring, soft-spoken, ambitious, strong-minded, strong-willing. She scares me sometimes how big her heart is. Cause it bring a lot. When she gives so much and her heart is so big. Submissive.
So let me ask this question, because this is going to hit you. Because you think her heart is so big,
Stop, mama.
Do you hide things from her?
Yes.
Because you don't want to overdo it?
And it's because, and I think all of us do it. Because you gotta chill.
No, it's good. It's fine. That's like saying I'm saying something nice to you, but don't get emotional.
Yeah. Right. I think all that come into play is because it's like, and I'm so comfortable saying this now because this lady has done so much. The world should know it. And she had us, young. So we kind of grew up as she was getting stronger, and as she was getting wise in the process. So now me and my sister like on protective mode, like now, because we kind of know everything that she endured for her to sit in the seat that she's sitting in now, and for her to wear the hat that she wear now. A price was paid, a heavy price was paid. That a lot of people miss.
This is totally cool, you guys. This is totally cool. So while he's getting himself together, let me just ask you, like, what kept you going saying, we going to make it through this? Like, they growing up with me, I'm experiencing this, but we going to make this through this.
You know what? Being a Christian really helped. along the way.
We're going to have to bring tissue paper on our next one.
I had, I did have my kids young, like at 14.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was.
And the church frowns on that, and everybody's down, right?
Right.
Yeah. I grew up in the church, so I know
Yeah.
that.
So, at first it was a little rocky.
Mm-hmm.
And even now, I have like the older mothers and people at the church, like, you beat the odds.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really crazy because I just really got it.
Yeah.
Looking at how our kids is growing up today,
Mm-hmm.
I really got, because I'm like, what do they mean I beat the odds? I looked at it as I did what it was I was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I have children, and with the help of my parents, I can't lead them out. They was my backbone.
Yeah.
But, with the help of my parents, and I did what it was, I was supposed to do. Of course, trying to work and take care of my kids. I dropped out of school, but I later went back and did, what I had to do. And now I can see what they mean when they say, you beat the odds.
Mm-hmm.
I have 4 children. All of them, the first 2 went to college.
Mm-hmm.
The other one, he didn't go to college, and I even had to explain to him, I don't feel no way because you didn't go to college. College is not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And with the last one that's on his way out of high school,
he the baby.
going into college, we're already done with 2 years of college. I literally, Principal Anderson, like recently, for real, just started patting myself on the back.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Because it was so hard, because everybody kept thinking that, and probably because you got so wrapped up into working, like, you gotta make this, and I don't think you ever.
I was a hustler. I had to make it happen.
I think it's like when we say, sometimes you walk past the forest that you don't smell the trees or the grass and stuff like that. So it's because this is me. This is what I do. I got to keep doing this because I got to find some success in what's going on. Yeah. So when you look at your kids now, what do you think?
I am beyond proud. Like, I literally like walk with my chest stuck out.
Yeah.
Kids come up and, hey, Waquita is doing this and she's working at this school, and now Jarquez is over at Clark and he's doing this, and this, and with Mike and for years, and I can still say to this day, with 3 boys and a daughter, I never had to post bond or my middle son had a little traffic, whatever, but nothing major. My kids haven't been arrested for selling drugs, stealing cars. And, again, in today's society, that is a blessing. So I am proud of all 4 of my babies. And they know they mean the world to me. And I try to do everything I can. Even if they borrow money, I need that back.
Yeah.
I need it back, like, right away. And I know he may look at it like, she's just tripping because she really don't need it.
Right.
But whatever I give you, I need it back. Because when one of y'all come back,
you want to be able.
I need that to still be
keep
there.
The tree full.
Yeah. So, but I am proud of all of my babies.
So when you hear that, what does that make you think? Because sometimes we don't say it enough because we are in the hustle. We're in the fight to just be the best. We're in the fight to try to be successful. So sometimes we don't get a chance to stop and just be like, son, I love you, or mom, this, and or daughter, you really knocking this. We just don't get that chance because as parents, we trying to just make things happen, right? So what comes to your mind when you hear all of that?
And it's funny because that's exactly how, like, as a kid, as a child, you see it as what you're seeing it as. It's like, man, mama always her schedule was crazy. We was getting up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning for her to be on time to get there at 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. So the way that schedule was, like, in the morning time, this is going on for years. So, as we going as kids, you're like, man, you don't really get it, don't really understand it. But then now as an adult, and you sit back and you're dealing with kids, and you're in kids' lives, you're in these family lives, and you realize the life you actually had as a child coming up compared to what, and I think it's a difference sometimes. I don't think, and I say this even now, even dealing and working with kids, like, they're not going to show appreciation or appreciate it until later on down the line when life hit them or when circumstances come, and then they realize, like, yo, I really endured this, or my mom really did that, or my family really went to bat like that. Like, I had this compared to this, and I think now is is the reason. Like when I sit back and analyze it, it's like giving her flowers when she deserve it. And of course, in the midst of it, you don't see it because you're a child, so you complain and you cry about little stuff.
And you compare yourself to other people, right?
Yeah.
So like I think about me, like I'm like, well, I remember so well when I got to college, I didn't know we were poor, right?
Right.
Because nobody ever said we were poor. We had a house, and you know. And I remember going to Bradley, and it was spring break, and like all the people were like, oh yeah, we going to. I think they were going to the Bahamas at that time or whatever. And it was like, everybody just going to it's going to cost like $2,000. Everybody, da-da-da. And so I was like, and they were like calling their parents. So I called my dad and I was like, hey, everybody's going to the Bahamas for spring break and it's going to cost $2,000 and they're calling their parents for the $2,000. And he was like, so you calling me for what?
Right.
And I remember being like, don't you have $2,000? Their parents got it, right? And you don't think about like, man, my parents was hustling to get the house. They were hustling to do that. Yeah. My mind at that time was, I can't believe we're poor. And you're telling me I can't go to the Bahamas, you know? But once again, I was comparing myself to all the other people that were in that circle with me that were on their way to the Bahamas for spring break. Yeah. And so then of course, there were moments that I was like, and I remember saying this to my dad, well, why didn't y'all let me be born to a rich family? And he was like, because you wouldn't learn half the beep, beep, beep stuff you know now, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, did you not have some of those, like, we getting up at 2, other kids ain't getting up to 7?
Yes.
You know.
That and college as well. College was that reality check for me, too. Where I get to college and you see families, I want to emphasize, I went to HBCU, so Missouri was black families. And these have millions. Yeah. These families have millions of dollars. These kids not wearing the shoes twice, and I'm way 12 hours away by myself, and it gave me one of the things when I came back home. It was this is where you come from. Yeah. This is the essence of where everything was created. Why you walk the way you walk and talk the way you talk. But then you go around kids who, to me, who had it like that, it gave me a different type of motivation in the essence. Like, no, my people grinded for this and really went and got this for real.
Once you understood that,
Once I understood that point. But at first it was like like, why you didn't, it's almost like a point of finger, like, well, what did my family didn't do that your family did? Did we not did we not manage money right? Did we why we didn't get it and y'all got it?
And you're like, and then we say we know Jesus because we in church. Jesus ain't gave us no extra money to go to the Bahamas. Yeah, so all of that plays such a huge factor. Yeah. So, Ma, you know, I appreciate you being here. You know that, right? I mean, I feel like we've been through like parts of life together. Right. But when you think about now, like looking back, what would you say to those people who were like the naysayers for you? You know, because I'm sure it wouldn't be something negative, but it would just be like, for me, I think you would be something like "watch me now" or "look at me now" type thing. But because some of those naysayers are still around, who was like, I ain't think like them telling you beat the odds, and you're like, wait, what you mean I beat the odds? You know,
it's funny. I don't mean it like it used to be this thing in the church they used to call us Leah's kids.
They used to call you Leah's kids.
Leah's kids because it's 3 of us or 3 or 4 of us, and it came like, oh well, y'all got because Leah's kids. Well, we was doing bad stuff. It was always like that thing. Now Leah's kids is the kids. Leah's kids is the kids that you guys look at to inspire. You guys, our house is full of church people now on random days. Yeah. Why? Because now you guys see the light that you guys didn't see at first, but now it's like everybody is like, it's like you're trying to cling on to this energy, to pour from this energy, because y'all can see this beacon of light now. And at first they didn't see it. At first it was like, you know, it was a thing where it was like, oh, you know, you kind of shun on them and they had their own opinions. And like these same people that's looking out with their hand out now. And they go full circle. You know, guys say, you know, you make your enemies your footstool.
Yeah. What do you think of all that?
Yeah, pretty much what he said. You know, it's even some of the ones that, you know, talk, because I didn't.
And we're not dogging people who
right.
Because that was their opinion at the time, right?
And I had role models. So, of course, you had some that was whispering over here and, you know, some that was, you know, trying to give me encouraging. Yeah. But, you know, even the ones that, you know, was whispering, you know, now they just look at me in awe. Like, you know, you did it. Yeah. You know, you did it. So I don't, and my kids always tell me, your heart is like so big. I don't hold grudges.
Yeah. It's so short. Life is too short.
It's way too short. And especially now.
Yeah.
You know, back then it was short, but now it's even shorter.
Yeah.
Yesterday it was gone today, gone tomorrow. Now it's gone today, gone today.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't hold grudges. You know, I truly, truly thank God, you know, for leading me, and I always said, you know, that was my baby daddy.
Yeah,
You know, he
yeah.
helped me raise my children.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the go-getter.
Yeah.
I was the go-getter. Why? Because I didn't want my kids to become the
Yeah.
go-getters.
Yeah. Because
You
that's what I was
know-
going to ask you. When did you decide to go back to school? Like, how old were they when you went back to school?
Almost grown.
Okay. So how was that? Like, because then that means at some point y'all were in school
They
together,
didn't even
right?
know for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
They
my
didn't
mom
even
did
know
us the
for a
same
long
way. I had no clue.
They didn't even know for a long time. So, you know, I had to, as they say, grind, because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want my kids to feel that they had to go stand on the corner
Yeah.
for the gym shoes
Yeah.
and the name brand clothes. And I know, you know, it's not all in name
You just didn't want
brand.
them to feel like they couldn't have it.
Right. So,
Yeah.
you know, if they go to school and these kids got this and these kids got that, you know, y'all probably didn't get it every 2 weeks,
Yeah.
but y'all didn't go without
Yeah.
either. I have went without
Mm-hmm.
for a whole bunch of times.
But how did you hide that from them? Because like my mom hid a lot of stuff that I was like, why didn't I didn't notice that she was at school. When did that, you know,
Yeah.
how did you keep that from? And y'all had no clue, right?
A lot of time, like even like now, and you think of the lifestyle we lived. Like you wouldn't have maybe told me in college that again, like my family was poor, or
Yeah.
that we lived under the average income of where
Yeah.
we was living, because our house was always nice furniture, nice. We
Mm-hmm.
wasn't going nights hungry. It wasn't that. So you couldn't convince me that, you know,
Yeah,
our
yeah,
life
that's how
wasn't
it was,
a
too.
good life, you know, for
Yeah.
real, for real. But then of course when you step outside of your household and what you understand, oh, it's a bigger world than this.
Yeah.
It's a bigger world.
How do you think you kept all that from them? I'm always amazed by how moms do that.
Yeah.
You know, they say some parent, I didn't let my kids see me sweat.
Mm-hmm.
If I felt the way or I'm going through something,
Yeah.
and I'm a big crybaby anyway, so don't say that. I'm just an emotional Pisces.
Yeah.
But
Stop it, because I'm a Pisces too.
You are.
it's our birthday is the same day.
Yeah.
Same day, yeah.
I didn't know that. Little dude
Yeah.
just told
Yeah.
me that.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I will release in the shower
Mm-hmm.
at night.
Yeah.
You know, my kids didn't know that, man, Christmas coming up.
Mm-hmm.
How I'm going to make this happen?
Right.
Because I felt it wasn't their problem.
Yeah.
But I always made it happen.
Mm-hmm. Somehow. Right.
Somehow, it, you know, God came through and
Mm-hmm.
made it happen. And now, like, I'm on them now, like, about credit. I wasn't taught that way.
Yeah.
Now, I don't play about that.
Yeah.
So, all my kids with being, whether it's authorized users or whatever, should be sitting at 7 something.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so I try to, again, the big heart. Even now, you know, people may see me and be like, man, you know, that look nice. Where you get that from? I would go spend $100 and some.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, you know, y'all know Spivvy the youngest. So I had to get
The
3
spoiled
pair of Jordans.
youngest.
The old, he is, but the oldest ones played a big part in it.
Oh yeah.
I had to get 3 pair of Jordans.
Yeah.
I never bought one and didn't buy the other.
Yeah.
So with they shoes probably being like 120, 130, I'm gonna go to Shoe Carnival
Yeah.
and put me something together, and it, you know, I went. That's where it come with. I went without so that my kids
Yeah.
wouldn't go to school and feel different.
Yeah. And then you look up and you working at a school.
Yeah,
He's at a school.
yeah. My daughter is
I
at
was
a
gonna say
school.
she's at a school.
Yeah,
Like how does all of that like?
I don't know. Well, I have had 2 jobs in my life.
Mm-hmm.
My first job was McDonald's. I worked for McDonald's for 21 years.
Really?
And all this while I'm in school, apparently she's going back to school without us knowing she's going back to school. She called me one day when I was finna ready to graduate and mentioned something about her transitioning.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so like, cause it was like, Mama, that's what you deserve. That's what you go ahead. And
Right.
I get how, you know, you used to something and you've been doing something for so long. It can be a little nerve-wracking stepping out on that edge
Yeah.
like that and doing something new and then trying something different. But again, this is a strong woman who perseveres through, I'm talking about darkness, the way, you know what I'm saying, you can't see the light. But her doing that and her getting that confidence, step out there and do that, and now she's working in the school, helping kids, dealing with kids. And I think that her seeing kids too and dealing with kids now, I think and I hope that helps her to appreciate everything she was able to do for us. Because sometimes, you know, coming up as a kid, how you gonna look back and
Right.
forth like,
Yeah.
but then when you get old, it's like, what was you thinking, kid? Like,
Yeah.
you really like don't get the sacrifices that was made for you to be in the shoes that you in. And of course, you got to double back, apologize, you know, say oh, this and
So,
that. you
yeah,
know.
because you was one.
I was going to ask who got the most whoopings.
Uh,
We know it wasn't Anthony's baby.
No.
Right.
he didn't get the most
He didn't
now,
get
but
the
he
most.
have gotten them. You know,
Maybe me and my sister.
maybe, yeah. My kids wasn't bad.
Yeah, maybe me
You
and
know,
my
they
sister.
wasn't free to.
And you know, people expected him to be bad because you were so young having him.
Yeah,
You know,
no,
like
no,
they
no.
wouldn't have
And
training.
I don't-
Yeah,
I don't know if that's why I was so hard on them.
yeah.
Because, you know, people look at it like, you know, was she young? No.
Yeah.
Like now, me and my daughter is like best friends.
Yeah.
Did you think she was hard on you when you were a kid, or you just thought that's just what mothers do?
Yeah, but it's like I kind of understood the scenario, understood
Well,
the
because
circumstances.
you've been the dad all the time anyway.
Yeah, and I think it was, and I think they kind of played a role in it too. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know. You know what I'm saying?
It just played a role in you being the older one
Yeah.
stepping in and
Yeah, and it was that. Yeah, being an older male around, kind of like
For a long time.
Yeah, and I felt so responsible for everything. Like,
yeah.
everything. Like, and then we didn't have like, you know, our lifestyle wasn't all peaches and cream. You know,
Right.
we kind of dealt with the opposite side of, you know.
join the crowd.
Yeah, definitely.
We all grew up on the west side
yeah,
learning.
yeah,
you know?
yeah. And I think that that part of it kind of made all of us and gave all us a type of toughness that made us like almost Teflon to outside stuff trying
Yeah.
to interfere with us or interfere with our.
So
our-
HBCU, what made you go to a HBCU? Because you graduated from Austin, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So what made you do HBCU?
So
And you
I
were
was-
good with him going to HBCU? That
Yeah.
far away?
Yeah, it was that far away.
Yeah, it was a that far away.
Because even with, not finna get emotional, but
Okay, babe.
even with finances being the way that they
I was
were,
going to ask that the next question.
I put my baby on a plane to go to college
Mm-hmm.
because the finances wasn't there for all of us to
To go.
drive
Yeah.
or to fly. But he went on the phone, you're gonna go to Walmart, get this. He made it happen. But you know, he picked a school, he that's where he wanted to go, so I trusted his decision.
Yeah.
And he went, and you know, I know he gonna have that talk with his brother. It wasn't what he,
Yeah,
thought it was.
yeah.
So, and college experience is
Yeah.
what I got out of it. But
Because you
He
really
made it
experienced
through.
it with him. So
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Quita was a little easier because she was up the street.
Yeah.
Closer.
She was at NIU, so
Yeah.
she was at home every
You can
weekend.
drive up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, and it's that too. Like,
You just wanted to get free and just.
yeah, I
get
think
out,
it was
or-
so. I was playing football and I was getting recruited to play football.
Mhm.
But when I was coming out of high school, I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing as far as the classwork
Right.
and the ACT score. So I ended up I couldn't go to Division I school,
Mhm.
so I had to either go to a different 4-year school or go to JUCO and then transfer in.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go to a straight 4-year university and kind of leave the city. I was getting like this urge and this like to just leave and I can look back and say if I did not leave,
Yeah.
there's no telling, you know what I'm saying, what situation or where
Yeah.
I'd be right now if
Yeah.
I didn't
And you
leave
felt
Chicago.
that too when you
Yeah.
put him on the plane.
I got friends who are dead and in jail. Like most of the guys I played ball with, most of my graduating classes in that situation is because they stayed here. They wasn't even know type of kids, but because they stayed, they got caught up in that type of thing, and that's what ended up
Yeah.
happening. But I think like and then that too, like me realizing that like leaving for school and understanding like I wasn't able to like have what I had. I went to school with, and we both of us creating our distance as we leave in the airport.
Right.
And it's like I felt that heavy burden, like, and she crying, I'm crying. It's like a Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me not go down here and drop the ball. Let me go down here and take care of and come back with what I went down here for.
Yeah.
So I can make her proud. So she can walk around with her chest out. You know what I'm saying? Because there was people around us who wasn't finishing. They were just going to school, flunking out, coming back home. And that was a scare, like, dude, what did you finna go down here and do? Like, you go down here and be the same thing, have the same situation. But I think, like, me wanting that for my mom and wanting to create that lifestyle, to be able to come back and say, you know what I'm saying, look, this is what you
put me on the
did
plane,
this.
but now I'm back.
Yeah, you did this, and don't nothing less than, like, you did this, and now and that's why. And she be like, oh well, I don't want y'all to think differently because of the life y'all see y'all little brother get. You guys know if I was able to do
I
that.
I literally just told them that.
Yeah, like if I was able to do that when y'all would have the same things. And I know that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But again, it was different situation, different scenario.
I
So
said
now
that
my
about my
brother.
brother. I'd be like, he's your favorite.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, I love all y'all the same. I was like, there's no way you love us the same because he get this, he get do this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And see, I'm the oldest, so
Okay.
everything was paid for me, and then my brother came like 6 years later, and so it was like, I was like, why did you even bring him here?
That's not nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way I felt at the time
Right,
because
right,
I felt
right.
like he just got everything. I felt like
Yeah.
he was the smoothest butter one,
Yeah.
So I could see how you guys would be like, but y'all spoil him yourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that another thing with that was that, like, man, let me help my mama because I'm able to help my mom.
Okay,
like,
that makes sense.
It's not it's like it wasn't like because we know how it's a younger generation and everything like that, and we know everything she did for us. So if I'm able to keep him okay or do anything small, like to take some pressure off of your shoulders because you deserve that and you earned it, and it's not like she don't. And like you know, he think we rich. Like, and it's because
when I
of
was in college.
he think we rich, and that's because of the lifestyle they created for him.
Yeah.
And what he sees, like, he don't see nothing else. He know if he asks for, he can get it with his mom or his dad.
Yeah.
What is that lifestyle that she has created, that culture that she has created, and I'm blessed to be a part of this bloodline and to be able to keep her bloodline going, and just be a part of that. Seriously,
That's powerful. You know, the most powerful thing you said to me was you pulled up in your big truck, that big old truck, and I said, I was like, what you doing this is what I said I wanted, and I worked till I got what I wanted. Remember saying that to me?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I ain't mad. I love it, you know.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so powerful because you were like, this is what I wanted, and I was going to work till I can get what I wanted.
that Tahoe.
And I did. And
Yeah.
She been with
that's
that
like
Tahoe
I
for a long
always
time.
wanted a Tahoe,
Yeah,
like
for a
for
long time.
years.
Yeah. When you said it to me, I was like, okay. And then I started thinking like, dang, what's something I really want that I'm willing to, to work for? Because that's what you kind of sparked in me when you did that. Because I hadn't even thought about it. Like, what am I really working that I want? Because this is not because I want to be flashy. Or anything.
It's
just
what I want.
It's what I
Yeah.
want. So that was. I don't know if you remember that.
I
one.
remember.
Yeah.
One time I was dropping Lil Dude off.
Yeah.
He was like, what is you doing in this? And I was like, look.
Because I was like, it's so much bigger than you.
My husband wanted agreements, but
Yeah.
it's what I wanted, so
Yeah.
I went and got what I wanted.
She has earned it.
I'm so honored, and I know you got to get back to work. He got to probably get back to work, and I got to figure out something to do. But I'm so honored that you guys stopped by and did this with us. What we're
thanks
doing is
for
we're going to
inviting
release them
me.
all the week of Mother's Day. But we just wanted to do a lot to try to do something different this year with Mother's Day.
Okay.
And then, we coming up in our heads with some things to do for Father's Day as well.
Okay.
But thank you so much for being here. Last words,
baby.
Last words, Dr. Williams.
Dr. Williams, we going back?
He's gonna go back. He's got some more things I got in store for him.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I love you. You deserve everything that's gonna come to you because it's not over yet. And I'm excited to see you enjoy that.
And don't forget to tell her that the best has not come yet.
It's not. I promise you, it's not. I ain't even halfway done yet, lady.
Okay.
And you know that.
So thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate you. Talk to you soon.
Peace out.